All right, let's do some math. Chapter 5 is on probability. Saw some of it in 5.1, 2, and 3. If you watched the videos, I hope you did. Today we are doing, let me confirm that we're doing the right ones. I'm on track. We're doing 5.4 and 5.5 today. 5.4 is on dependent events. We'll start there. So what often happens is we often know some information that affects the probability. Like, let's look at the probability of rolling a 3 on a die. Look at versus rolling a 3 if we know it's odd. So on a single die, there's 6 outcomes, right? One, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So the probability of rolling a 3 is, there's only one answer that's a 3. It's 1 out of 6. If I know the die roll is an odd number, though, this changes it. If it's an odd number, I can cross out, or maybe I'll just circle all the even numbers and say, I'm not going to look at those. So the probability that it's a 3, given that it's odd, well, now there's only 3 outcomes. 1, 2, 3. So it's 1 out of 3. This is just an example of using a die. There's a formula that goes with it. But I want to, like, give an example so you can go, what the hell are we talking about? This is what we're talking about. Shit like this. So when we know previous information is called given information. And so the notation we use for this is if we want to have the probability event F given that event E occurred or happened, that's the wording for what's about to follow. Probability of F with a big vertical line, E. This is read as F given E. There's a formula for it. The probability of F given E equals the probability of E and F, or the probability of just E. I've been waiting for you, Hansel. Front row was a crop-free zone last week.
Smells right.
Is it? I don't smell shit. You don't look like it smells right because you're not running. You're not fainting. So I'm calling bullshit. Where's Tommy? Are you there, Tommy? Tommy, don't come back. Oh, hi.
They come back.
He did come back. She moved way the fuck away, though. It's like, I ain't falling for that shit. Another option of this, if we don't have the probabilities, we just have the numbers, is N of E and F. And I'll show what both of these mean. Over N of E. And this is a little easier to use once you see it in play, but first, if I take that probability, like if I take, let me put a box around it, use it. If I take this and I multiply both sides by the probability E, I get the probability of E and F, the right side, equals the probability of F given E times the probability of E. That's another form of this equation that's common. This is for dependent events. When F depends on the outcome of E. This should look a little familiar to you in one form. Last week we had in the videos, probability of E and F equaled the probability, not and, equals the probability of F times the probability of E when they are independent. F and E have nothing in common. Let's take a look at what we just did with the dice rolls. The dice roll. I said the probability of rolling a 3, given that it's odd. That should be the probability that it's 3 and odd over the probability of it being odd. So this is like doing the F given E, and this is E and F over E. Well, the probability of being a 3 and an odd, they are kind of like, if it's 3, it's already odd. The probability of 3 and odd is 1/6. The probability of getting an odd number is 1/2. Half the numbers on the die roll are odd. So if I put these together, I get some complex fraction shit going on. Now, you can do this in a calculator, or the easiest way is to multiply the top and bottom of the bottom fraction upside down. The bottom fraction is 1/2, so we're going to flip it over and use 2/1. This just multiplies to equal 1 on bottom. And we just have 1/6 times 2/1, which is 2/6. And if we simplify that, we get 1/3. Some little bit of fraction manipulation. So if you're in a support course and you're like, fuck, I don't remember how to work with fractions very well, look at some of the homework on fractions. They'll refresh your memory. Or you throw this shit in a calculator. Your calculator has fractions, it goes much quicker even. But in a calculator, this is going to be 1 divided by 6 divided by, if you've got parentheses, do the parentheses, 1 divided by 2. It might just be easier to do the 1 divided by 2 first. 1 divided by 2 is 0.5. And then do 1 divided by 6 divided by 0.5. You're going to get 0.33333333. It's just going to keep going. Now, these two equations I have at the top give us a really, really good test. So I'm going to leave them up there while I do the test. Put another piece of paper over this one. These two scenarios give us a test for independent events. In the case that you don't already know it, if we're talking about dice rolls and cards, you can figure out pretty fucking quickly if you just do some reasoning whether or not there's any connection between the two. But in some things, like data you collect in the real world, you may not know if there's a connection between two different events or not. This gives you a way of finding out. If the probability of event F happening given E is identical to the probability of F, then F and E are independent. What this means is E does not affect the outcome of F. Now, there's two ways we're given data. We are either given the probabilities or frequencies. Frequencies or relative frequencies. So that gives us our two different forms of equations. If we're given frequencies, we're going to do the number part. The number of E and F over number of E, and we'll do that first. Relative frequencies look like proportions or percentages. These look like probabilities, because they're all less than 1. So here we'll do the probability of F given E is equal to the probability of E and F over the probability of E. We're going to do an example of each so you can like follow what I'm talking about, but that's really where we're starting, where we're going to go with this. We've got a few more days. We got chapter 6 to do too. I forgot about chapter 6. Fucking can't count. Like I know the midterms after chapter 7, and I go 5. Yeah, 7 seems next. It's fucking good. Fucking I have a skilled mathematics teacher in the front of the classroom right now.
That's why you need your note.
I got him. I use notes so that I'm like, I gotta make sure I hit all the topics. I gotta have notes to make sure I hit the topics.
Math professor also internet.
I did work at NASA, it's true. I've also, for more appropriate for the probability section, I've done work for casinos. In fact, there's a casino in San Jose called Matrix, or they have a new jackpot in play. It's a card jackpot. It's a progressive jackpot for playing games. And it's like you have to kind of get like 3 or 4 blackjacks in a row. There's like 6 different table games they're doing it on. Depending on the game, it's the different odds of, I calculated all the odds of like how rare an event has to fucking be to like happen only like once every 2 months or so. Given a number of hands per hour, number of players. I did all their work for them. They got their new tournament thing going on. And now I got paid $5,000 for doing like 40 hours worth of work for it. So it was interesting, and it was all this probability shit we're doing.
So because you did it, you don't get to play on it?
That doesn't change the,
You know the strategies, so we would-
but I know, well, anybody that knows how to play the game will know what strategies. Players know the strategies better than I do, because I don't know how to play some of the games very well. Blackjack, yeah, I could,
That's 21, right?
yeah.
Yeah, that's easy.
All right, let's look at an example. So a survey was conducted. About faith. People were asked, are you an atheist? Do you believe in God, like Christian kind of thing? Or just a God, a singular God? Or is it some like, are you like, I believe in the universal spirit, or like Mother Earth or some shit like that? And they did this survey, and they broke up the results by regions. So I'm going to give you a table. And the regions were East, Midwest, South, and west. Why they didn't ask the people in the north, I have no idea. This is the breakdown that it was done. And make this shit up. I pulled this from something else. And it had the following numbers. Maybe I'll use different numbers for each column. So that way it's a little bit easier to read. And I feel like this shit's a little bit old. Because I really think there's more atheists in today's world. It's like it's a disease and it spreads. I'm in that category. I'm an atheist. I was a very, very devout Christian for a long time. And then I made the mistake of working for the Catholic Church for 7 years. And they broke me of that shit. All right, so we were going to ask 2 questions. What is the probability that someone who lives in the West believes in God? Let's take a look at it. So maybe it might be helpful to tally each of these things up. Maybe I'll tally the rows. I have the columns written down. For some reason, I don't have the rows written down. So I'm gonna have to do this. 204 plus 36 is 240, plus 15 is 255. 212 plus 13 is 225. Plus 29 would be like plus 30 minus 1. 255 minus 1 is 254. 219 plus 26 is 245, plus 9 is 254. And let's see, the last two, is this 254 also? This might be 254 also. These two add up to 102. That's 254 also. And so like all of it together is 1017. Now there's 2 ways to go about finding this problem. There's the way that uses the formula, which I think is the hard way, but we're going to do it first. What is the probability that someone who lives in the West believes in God? Someone who lives in the West sounds like an pre-existing condition. Where they live is given. This is going to be our given info. So this is like probability of believing in God, given that they live in the West. So this is the probability of both. God and West over the probability of West by that stupid equation. I know, you all think it's stupid. So what is the probability that someone lives in the West and believes in God? The only group of people that applies to is this 152. There are 152. There are 152 people that believe in God that live in the West out of 1,017. And the probability that someone lives in the West, there are 254 people that live in the West out of 1,017. So this is like the West part. And that is like the God and West part. Calculator, where are you? $152 divided by 1017 and divided by, I'm gonna do parentheses so that it doesn't fuck up. 254 divided by 1017. And it's telling me 0.5984. That seems like a lot of work, right? Let's reread this and see if we can reason some shit out. What is the probability that someone who lives in the West believes in God? If we only are concerned about the people that live in the West, maybe we should just block out everybody else. This first column is God here. If I block out everybody else, I don't give a shit about the rest. Now I can just focus on what's happening in the West, who believes in God. There are 152 people that believe in God out of 254 people in the West. Now a little bit easier. Less calculator work. It's still going to get the same answer. It's still going to be this crappy decimal. But 152 over 254 should get you 0.5984. And I didn't need the equation for it. The equation doesn't help if you reason it out right there. I want the probability that someone who lives in the West, so I don't give a shit about the people in the East, the Midwest, or the South. I'm just going to ignore all their data for now. And just focus on that and go, okay, out of these people that live in the West, how many of them believe in God? And that's what I did there. Let's do the same thing and figure out, let's just switch it around. I don't want to take it all off the screen. Where is my black pen? There it is. Probability that someone who believes in God lives in the West. What? It's kind of like the same sentence, but I flipped the shit around, didn't I? It's supposed to look very similar. It's very similar. So what the given condition is here is now they are a true believer. They follow the path of the one true God. That's my given information. Where do they live? Trying to find the probability that they live in the West. So the probability of West given a belief in God. I can do that awkward ass formula again, or focusing on the people that believe in God. So I don't so much care about the people that are universal spirit or atheists. There are 787 people that believe in God. 152 of them are in the West. 152 over 787. Okay, that's where you're given the table of data. I think the table of data is a lot easier to use than if you're given probabilities. We're going to do that next. An example that has probabilities. So let's set that one. Oh, wow. Quit yawning. So this is going to be in a great word problem form. In like every problem in the book, right? In 2005, 19.1% of murder victims, of all murder victims, were 20 to 24 years old. Also, 16.6% of all murder victims were male, 20 to 24-year-olds. What is the probability that a randomly selected (20 to 24-year-old) is male? I was in a fine discussion with somebody on Discord, I say early last week, like Monday. And ooh, that one might have a little bite. Be careful. We were discussing fine recipes to increase the, shall we say, flavor, the aroma, the aromaticness. And he said, broil Brussels sprouts and bacon in the oven with garlic and onions, and it makes a tasty dish that will devastate the classroom. Yes, this was discussing what to do for the Chipotle protocol. If I ever need to do the Chipotle protocol. So this is what no, not Chipotle. You don't eat Chipotle, you do this.
The Chipotle.
Yeah, you haven't heard of the Chipotle?
I've never heard of that.
I thought you had, okay, so the Chipotle protocol, thankfully, I don't really have a problem in here, because anybody that does mouth off just keeps quiet. If I have students that are very, very disruptive in class, I threaten with the Chipotle protocol. And if they push their luck, I just eat Chipotle before, I teach in the afternoon, so I just eat Chipotle before lunch and I will lock that fucking door. And just however the day happens, the day happens. Chipotle protocol.
Efficiency plan.
There's also the cauliflower rice activation protocol. Codename crap. Cauliflower rice, I don't know if you've ever had it where they take cauliflower and they rice it up in small. It has the texture of rice, but it's cauliflower. Oh my God, that's worse than, refried beans. No, it's got to say, it doesn't taste like rice, but it's got a texture like rice. But it's got like more like impact than refried beans. And he said, nope, that's not the one you want. You want Brussels sprouts. But, all right. So what, that was giving everybody a chance to write this down while I just talked about inane shit. What are we trying to find out? We want to know that the probability that someone is a male, if we know they're 20 to 24 years old, right? We're looking for probability of a male given that they're 20 to 24. Now, so I'll just rewrite the equation because it's on another page and you might have forgotten it. We're doing the probability of F given E equals the probability of E and F over the probability of E. So how does that connect to ours? F is male and E is 20 to 24 years old. So we want probability of male and 20 to 24-year-old divided by the probability of 20 to 24-year-old. Do we have that information? We do, they gave it to us. They said 19.1% of all murder victims were 20 to 24 years old. That's the bottom. And as a decimal, 19.1% is 0.191. Then do we know how many of them were male and 20 to 24 years old? Yes, we do. It was the 16.6%, right? And as a decimal, we move it left twice. And we got that. So what does that equal? 0.166. Oh, clear the calculator. $0.869. How are you guys doing on homework right now? How are you guys doing? Not you. You don't get a vote ever. Cause I know you're way the fuck ahead. You don't count, Sebastian. You're an outlier. You're in that outlier category. How is everyone else doing on homework right now? Like, are any of you working on chapter 5 yet?
Is checking by the one that's due next week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not very many of you though. I say we pause, stop here for the day. We'll do 5.5 on Thursday. If you want to work on it in here. You can work on it in here, otherwise you're free to go. And we'll do 5.5 and 6.1 on Thursday. We'll still have everything. Don't worry, the midterm will still be on time. We were discussing that. You need to come up with, if you want, hey, now's the time, if you want to conspire together. If you want to like discuss it. If you want me to leave the room, I'll go sit outside on the table until you're like, want me to come back.
Give us a tip.
You guys want a couple minutes to discuss your strategy for convincing me? Yes, Sebastian. I don't know. Yeah, it's the young whippersnapper's gonna try to, what do you got for me?
Okay, I got 3 points.
The fuck, he's taking notes, you wrote it down? All right.
Okay, allowing notes on a midterm can encourage students to study more and take their learning seriously. But us having our notes allow us to pay attention to class more. Because, okay, all the notes I put on my notebook is my own knowledge. While on my test, I might forget some things, maybe some equation, a little bit things, like look at a notebook, that's everything I wrote down that I felt like I needed to understand more.
So it encourages you to take more notes during class.
Yeah, it encourages us to take more notes in class that allows us to learn more and more about the topic we're doing. Secondly, allowing notes on a midterm test helps reduce tech anxiety. Most of the time for me, most of my teachers, okay, here's the notes, but I'm gonna have to test a little bit harder, but you have everything that you have here. That lets my anxiety go down because maybe during a physics test, I forget an equation. During the whole test, I'm like, well, I forgot that equation, it's gonna mess me up.
Yeah,
Third, allowing notes on a midterm test will help the instructor assist the students understanding of the material, rather than just us memorizing stuff. Oh, I'm gonna memorize this, and I'm gonna forget the next day and write another thing. Having our notes will help us understand more and more of the topic that we're learning, and allow us to learn better.
is that really the best you guys got? Can't do better than that.
Yes, yeah.
Good argument. I'll allow notes on the midterm.
I'm so going on.
I will allow notes on the midterm. But I do like bribery. I don't think that would never not count, but I've already said yes. Although I don't know that I like that you were taking the time while I was lecturing to come up with this list, because I know you multitask. He was doing both, and he's probably, how many physics problems did you get done right now too?
How many physics homework? I finished all of
What else did you get done in my class then?
English.
I told you, he's not just fucking sitting there brain.
And he did the final.
He didn't- What?
That sounds nice.
It's actually not a bad idea. Let's ponder on that. We got a few days to think about that. Cause I don't think anybody's in here afterwards, so like, we could take a little bit longer, have a potluck, maybe, I don't know, let's think about it. I'll have to convince my wife that I might have to stay over late, cause y'all,
Invite her over. Yeah, have tomorrow.
she is not gonna wanna come, cause I gotta get here on, let's see, what day is the midterm is on Thursday. I gotta get here at 2. She doesn't wanna sit here till 2 till, 5 in the other class. But she's willing to wait.
She can be in the room. We'll just tell her you're taking her plate.
I could tell her that.
Do not make dinner, you're taking her.
Hey.
See, now you're bribing me with dinner and. All right, we can do that. If you guys want to do, who wants to do a potluck during the midterm? And we could stay in later than the actual whole time for the midterm. You can stay late. You don't have to, but we. All right, fuck it. The midterm is 5 to 7, yeah.
On the
Are
ninth?
you sure? Cause I was like.
It is on the 9th, but if we're having like food during it, you may want more time, so I'll stick around after that. I'll probably stick around till 8,
Sweet.
since you're bringing dinner. Good job, Sebastian.
Everybody just bring
You just saved them all a lot of work trying to conspire. He had pretty, the first 2 were better than the third.
Sounds like a fun time.
Like if I had put more effort into it, you would have gotten a better response. This guy. All right, so yeah, we'll have you guys can use your notes on midterm. What? I don't know that we have a lot of microwave options. I want to say there's one in the other building. I think it's out in the hallway, but it might be in the bookstore. It's 5 to 7 though. That's kind of presents, I don't know, we have to think about this.
We can.
Bring on my.
I like to eat while I'm. Yeah.
I gotta think about it. Hold on, I gotta think about it if I could do this. We're not supposed to have drinks in here. They're gonna get madder than fuck if someone walks by and just sees we're having a. Cause all these desks are computer desks.
So I can't bring sodas, like,
You're not supposed to. Like, I bring stuff that has a lid and like, if you have your cup has a lid, but like we have open food. We might have to do like a potluck outside first.
What if we bring a folding? That's the back.
We'll take that, let me see if I can get it to happen. Okay? Y'all kind of threw this at me today. Either work on your homework or you're free to go.
we'll be up for it, sorry.
Yeah, so I'm gonna scan these and upload these.
Crap, extracurricular. Essay.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
Right there, have they hit the 1,000-yard stare?
I'm thinking about how I can get away with doing this. I'm not supposed to have food in here. If I,
At all.
no, it's a fucking computer lab. You're not supposed to have food, there's a fucking sign right outside the door. I'm absolutely certain, I'm absolutely confident this sign right below that exit route sign says no food or drink on the other side. I'm like 95% sure that's the situation. Is it rolling? It's rolling.
And you can see the really wonderful thing.
What is it? ChatGPT is a terrible fucking thing.
Well, everyone liked it right now. What is that exactly?
You son of a bitch, use ChatGPT?
On his notes? Like.
No, on what, how to convince the teacher to use.
Yeah.
Look at this dirty shit.
That's what I do in all, like, every time I need to argue with it, it just helps me. Cause I'm pretty, like, for my business, I told you about my
So
business,
you didn't come up with that.
I came up with like 2 of those, the last one I did.
You just said you asked ChatGPT.
Yeah, for the last one, that's what you, the one you didn't like, I can tell.
It was the weakest one.
But
The other 2 were better. And in terms of arguments, it was.
I use it for my AP physics stuff.
ChatGPT, that's like a new software that's coming out, right? I know it's like AI.
It's AI and you can pretty much, you can do like English papers with it.
Oh,
Not, you could do like,
heard almost anything. Like,
I-
it's crazy.
only time I ever use it is for like non-credit. For like,
Shouldn't use it for English papers.
no, you shouldn't, they told me. Maybe like for proposals or. I used it for, because I'm in this business tech class in my school. And I'm like a team, I manage a team of like people. Well, I just usually do the whole work, it's not that hard, I just I have a Excel sheet room that instantly puts in the numbers.
Oh, that's dope.
They did the login, do the stuff. And they were like, oh, make a proposal to admin. And I was like, I don't really want to do that. So I just told ChatGPT to write me up a proposal about my slushy. And I had to change like half of it, like 10 words, and I was done. And it got accepted. But like for English papers, no, I highly not recommend it because they, I know if it was English, you need.
Is it something you can buy, bro, or is it like,
It's
it's down?
free.
It's free.
At least it's free now.
It's free now. They don't have memberships, but you can always find a way out.
It also works, you can generate computer code, at least low level.
No, like it's.
Like you can't design fucking World of Warcraft with it, but you can do some simple scripting with it.
That's pretty dope.
The teachers tested it, we said, design a lecture to teach, product role and quotient rule for calculus 1. And it gave up a pretty decent type lecture.
It's not perfect.
It wasn't perfect, but it was pretty good. It hit all the topics you needed.
But for English, no, you'll fail. It's like,
Definitely feel.
you can do like a 7th grade essay.
Yeah, it's not a college level essay,
Oh,
really.
okay.
But people have been known to, like, because it's fairly recent.
Yeah.
Start their essay with it and then adapt off of it. It's not a good, I don't recommend this, it's cheating.
Yeah,
It's not helping you right now. It's just like, I remember for my final, some kid used it, you get a 0. And he had to pick regular English after that.
You got a 0, is that bad?
The teacher's like, there's no citations, there's no like evidence, there's no nothing, it's just you spouting stuff.
Right? He probably didn't ask it for citations. I think you can ask it for citations
No, I didn't do citations.
and then do citations.
It's too advanced. Maybe one day. It's crazy.
it's like basically the plot line to Terminator, right? Skynet. It's
I just-
AI that takes over and like.
Yeah, the AI becomes self-aware.
Yeah, it comes self-aware.
I just bought the math lab stuff because last time I touched it, I guess my 2-week briefing went out, so I was doing it. I got, you know that rotations thing?
I'm a little pissed off at you, ChatGPT right now. Fucking sway me.
No, I only used it to like,
That's what you say,
the
but
last one. The last one wasn't really strong, because I couldn't think
what was the last one again?
that it helps like, it was like, the first 2 I wrote about like how it reinforces.
It's in your phone.
Luck.
It's the best.
Like, it's too much work. I'm not gonna look again.
Have you played the new remake of Dead Space?
No,
That's freaking bad.
of Dead Space. I don't remember playing Dead
Remember
Space.
Dead Space?
No,
It's an insane game. You'll love it. It's a horror game in space.
yeah, that is, what do you, like how horror? Are we talking like Resident Evil in space?
You haven't played Alien Isolation?
No,
I'll send you a trailer for email.
okay,
Yeah.
that'll work. Like Dark Souls, I like,
No, it's not like Dark Souls.
well, I just said I like Dark.
Oh, sorry, because I thought you were gonna compare it to Dark Souls.
No, which. It's not, Dark Souls isn't horror, but when I'm playing it, I am literally. I'm on the fucking, not on the first point, but I am tense and on the edge of my seat. I'm like moving my character slowly, like peek around corners and shit. Cause they're like, when they come for you, they come fucking hard and fast and
It's
they
so
go,
unforgiving.
it is very unforgiving game.
Seriously.
So I'm like. But like Resident Evil, no, I don't like jump scares. That's what it is. I don't like jump scares. Really? I hate jump scares.
Is it like you're scared of them, or you just don't think they're like,
I scream like a little girl jump scare.
oh, I know like some people just think it's boring, jump scares.
You ever played Dead Space or like Alien?
Yeah,
Playing more like competitive games.
Oh, God.
Yeah, no, not like that, like Siege, like they used to play a lot of just Siege, like competitive. Games they like, but just like talking to friends with them. Like there's like 2K.
that one you're taking that number and squaring
And then like,
it. You multiplying it by itself.
All out or-
only game I played recently.
So 4.5.
Oh, yeah,
times
and
an open world.
I get
Like
this.
Auto Ragnarok.
Oh, yeah, I heard that was dope.
100% is that, and then just play chess.
That's bro. But you know like Red Dead Redemption?
I played Resident 2
So
during
76
quarantine. That's one thing I played.
Yeah,
I would come home and just play that
yeah.
because there was like
You can either
3
do
hours of sleep.
76.8 like
At the time, I
that,
just want to play that. It's just there's not anything better.
or you can, if your calculator has something that's a square on it,
It's just like
get the square.
I don't like the
But
story.
then
It's not.
what I wanna know.
That's why I never really played Fallout. like the newer ones.
Oh, yeah, the best ones are
For
doing
this,
it.
it would be this.
I was trying.
But then how do we
I
get
was trying to
this,
pull the computer. I've been easier.
Yeah, it's the best on PC.
Because every time.
I've been lazy. And I don't have the space right now.
It wouldn't.
Just waiting to get my
equal.
apartment.
I mean, if you're a fan, you'll. Take care of it, happy for you.
The homework's due today, so
Yeah, I know.
I'll finish it when I get.
It might be you just kept hitting something wrong in the calculator. I'm getting it either.
Yeah, it would never give me this. It would always give me like a different answer. So that's why I kind of getting confused. Think of what to do next because I don't shit.
Column and this column go together,
Mhm.
and that column and that column go together. So you need to add these numbers up with these numbers. Because notice this is doing like these numbers and then these numbers are different.
Mhm.
This is like one big table that they just didn't make one big table. So if you add in this set of numbers to this set of numbers, you'll get that.
So I'm gonna add.
Just have this shit on the right. Don't do this stuff on the left. They're showing you on the left what they did to get these numbers.
And to get to this one, it's this. I'm adding all of this up to get to this.
Plus that. Notice they both say x squared on top. What they should have done. They should have just made one list. And had all of the data right here. Instead, what they did is they took it, they chopped it in half, they moved it up here and did this. But it's really just one column. Or two columns, really.
Yeah.
So if you blind all these up in one column like that,
Mhm.
then if you add them up, you should get that number on the bottom. Uh-huh.
So you said you play chess.
I like playing math teachers. They're really good at chess. My middle school math teacher is really good at chess. You want to be white or black?
Okay.
I'm black.
Oh shit, is that the queen?
Yeah. Why you thought that was king?
No, yeah, no, never mind, I do know what I'm doing. Just doesn't look that way. What you got, son? You play without your queen? I can.
I can. I'm getting better. Straight. That's the smartest move. Because if you took horse, I would have took bishop.
Yeah.
Could have just took your road right now. So I got some. What are you gonna do after work? Just chill?
Go home and have dinner with my wife, watch some TV shows.
I'll do English. I know. Their class on Thursday at work.
Hey, Castle.
Could I get a check in April?
What?
I was about to get checked in Castle. Like two was checking for both, so all I had to do is you have to move to the, because the queen to the king to the right, I would have gone down. And you would have been able to move, because I would just, let's say you moved right here, right? To like move and check, I would just have to.
And I would have gone right there.
Sure. Wait, if you were right here, yeah, never mind.
That would have just given you my rough.
Yeah. What all the lights are? What'd you do? Sure.
You moved there on accident, I think.
Oh, yeah, I did. I was like, wait, that's okay. Dang, I didn't see that.
Bye-bye, son. Ain't got the skills.
I'm pretty bad at the computers. You like playing on the computer or the board more?
I like the board more.
I can't play on the. You're gonna leave right now?
What?
You're gonna leave right now?
No, I'm staying until students leave. Or 7, whichever comes first.
But I tell you how to finish my rotations unit,
No.
so I took the test.